Hello, I'm Dr. Scott Wadier.
And I'm Tommy Welling, and you're listening to the Fasting for Life podcast.
This podcast is about using fasting as a tool to regain your health, achieve ultimate wellness, and live the life you truly deserve.
Each episode is a short conversation on a single topic with immediate actionable steps. We cover everything from fat loss and health and wellness to the science of lifestyle design.
We started Fasting for Life because of how fasting has transformed our lives, and we hope to share the tools that we have learned along the way. Hey everyone, welcome to the Fasting for Life podcast. My name is Dr. Scott Wadier. I'm here as always with my great friend and colleague, Tommy Welling. Good evening to you, sir.
Hey, how are you, Scott?
Doing fantastic. I'm hungry. Oh, wait, no, that's you. You've been fasting. You're on day 5. Your energy, your vibrance is coming through the screen. I'm excited to do this podcast tonight with you because I have a feeling that you're going to carry it from a stimulatory brain standpoint with the research that we have tonight. We're going to get a little nerdy, but we're going to always land the plane with some really cool insight and an action step for you guys to continue your fasting journey and continue regaining control. So yeah, I'm excited to say the least. I think you could probably tell that by my rambling open and the tone and volume in my voice.
Yeah, I know you gave me a big setup there, no pressure, and then you just crushed that intro right there. I just love that energy. I guess it's it's contagious right now.
Yep. So yeah, no pressure. So let's dive right into it. Your 5-day fast going good? Going to 7 days, right?
Yeah, it's going great.
Cool.
Getting into day 3, transition into full ketosis. I'm measuring my ketones this time.
Nice.
And that's been really good, really interesting with the Keto Mojo. I'm enjoying that process, and that's when I saw the full, kind of push into 2.6 was my high that day, and but before that point, I felt drained I had about 6 hours there that were pretty rough, maybe 8 even, and then after that, it's just like the floodgates open, and you just kind of feel invincible after that.
I love that invincible feeling. Yeah. I'm still in the midst of the beginning of the 8-week challenge. So tracking my food and tracking my numbers and got my DEXA scan done. So yours sounds a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. Tracking your ketones, which is a first, which I really think is cool. But we're going to have some cool data to go back and look at. Coming up with some new programs, metabolic program, diabetes reversal, continuing the coaching. So just having a lot of fun with it. People are getting results. I got to practice what you preach too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
Got to be ready.
Yep. So, all right. So I'm gonna read the topic for tonight, and I'm gonna have you start the unpacking process. Okay. This is out of the a Journal of Endocrinology in 2020. So this is a more recent study, and it's part of a larger ancillary study within the Framingham State Food Study. So it's the effects of dietary carbohydrate content on circulating metabolic fuel availability in the postprandial state. Tommy.
Wow, that was a mouthful. So what that means is carbohydrate levels, how they affect the actual circulating fuel, so sugar, fat, amino acids in the blood, and how available they are in the postprandial state. That's the state after eating, which is always a relative term. So it's usually measured in early, intermediate, late postprandial, going from anywhere from 30 minutes to up to 5 or 6 hours after ingestion of a meal.
So the way that title applies to the normal human like myself would be, do you ever feel like poop after you eat? Where you just hit a wall, you get tired, you've had lunch, hour and a half later, the head starts to bob, you got the brain fog, like you just feel like you want to lay down and take a nap, right?
Right. Yeah. The body's busy. You ate a lot, and you probably ate a lot of carbohydrates.
Yeah, I don't typically feel this after a big bowl of salad or some some lean chicken with
Yeah, just a piece of steak or something.
Yeah. Or 8 ounces of chicken breast and some broccoli. Like typically, I don't feel very weighed down after that. So it was interesting to see the postprandial state. You said 180 to 300 minutes, which is the late state, and then the early state, which is that 30-minute to 180-minute mark. And we're going to talk about insulin, which is the main factor here, where you get that insulin spike, and then what your body does in terms of trying to get rid of the sugar and the fat that's in your bloodstream, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the insulin and then what the glucagon does to clear out the liver. And it actually is opposite what my mind would think it would be, even knowing that insulin is the main contributor to this issue. Like I still would have thought that there'd be more energy later because of the amount.
Yeah, because you're bringing in so many carbohydrates, especially in the higher carbohydrate group, and intuitively we kind of think, okay, like if I just have a little bit of sugar, or if I have this this little food input, that's going to bring my energy levels up. But what we really know is that usually you have a short-term spike in that energy, and you kind of feel that jolt, like if you've ever had a soda or like a sugary coffee. Well, coffee is a little bit cheating because you got the caffeine as well, but
Right.
soda, or maybe a piece of candy, or like a small meal, especially like something kind of carbohydrate rich, and then you have that jolt of energy, but it comes crashing down a lot more dramatically than if you had eaten a piece of fruit or a more balanced meal, right?
Yeah, the interesting thing for me was the people in this study. So this is something that we need to be clear about too, for my own cognition, my own understanding of it, is
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about people that have overweight in this study, people that are overweight or obese. So BMI is over 30, right?
Right.
25, excuse me. Overweight 25, obese is 30, and then morbidly obese or super obese, whatever they call it, is over 35. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that chart keeps changing. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah, right. I'm like, wait a minute, that was a different category before. So um, when we're looking at these people, we're looking at people that have some insulin resistance there already. So these people have the extra, probably some cholesterol issues, some free fatty acid issues, some comorbidities with being overweight and obese, which is the heart, the diabetes, the cholesterol, all those different types of things. So we're really looking at the people that need to lose the weight the most. So when we're talking about more carbohydrates, it's crazy that you get this initial like spike, but then the body like goes into like crazy ninja storage mode, right?
Yeah, and it's trying to make sure that we don't have too much fuel, too much sugar, too much fat floating around in the bloodstream, because that can wreak havoc on everything. So the body goes into this clear it out, we got to get rid of it kind of mode.
Yeah, so it's almost so rather than, you have all this extra excess energy, your body goes, well, we got to store it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
and
like, God.
you mentioned the glucagon before. That's doing the exact insulin opposite of insulin, and so we know insulin is our fat storage. That's our energy storage. That is the hormone that's causing the issues that we're talking about. Well, glucagon is the opposite of that. That's the one that actually pushes that storage out, that allows the fat to be released, pushes sugar out, and allows us to clear out those energy stores. And so that's why we're looking at the difference in the ratio between those in this study.
So glucagon acts on the liver, causes the glycogen to be released into the bloodstream. And in this study, the insulin glucagon ratio was 7 times higher in the high versus low carbohydrate diet. And what happened was uh, in that postprandial window, the available energy, um, the the amount of energy that you had to use floating around in the bloodstream was like gone. So your body literally took this giant influx, right? And
Mm-hmm.
was like, okay, I'm just going to go like store this away with lock and key.
Yeah.
So store as fat, put the fat away, store it, fuel the don't release glycogen from the liver, shuttle the glucose into the muscle, skeletal muscle cells, right? Causes the kidneys to retain water. Like all of these things increase blood pressure. All of these things can happen. I don't know about you, but we had a night recently where we had Mexican food, so rice and tortillas and all this kind of stuff. A couple of IPAs, and like I laid down and I could literally like feel my heartbeat. Like it was like. I'm like, am I okay? Like, well, yeah, my blood pressure was elevated. So it was this crazy thing. And then there's the crash, right? So
it's like Thanksgiving.
A really interesting study that, really just started my mind like, okay, what's the application of this in real life? Well, making better food choices, right? Especially if you're in the overweight or obese category with that body mass index over 25 or 30. But if you've got undiagnosed diabetes or metabolic syndrome or insulin resistance where you just can't seem to lose the weight, you really have to start making better food choices in terms of reducing those carbohydrates in those meals, especially if you're fasting, because your body's going to go like you said earlier, Tommy, into like superstore mode. So you're just going to pack all this storage away and be like, well, you just kind of undid the effects of all the hard work and all those hours that you pushed your eating window.
Yeah, you did. You can easily undo, a nice 18, 24 hour fast, with overconsumption, with too many carbohydrates. And you can feel bad too, because at that point you would have cleared nicely through a lot of your glycogen, most of it at that point, but you can easily replenish that with just an overly indulgent high carbohydrate meal, and you're going to pay for it too. And you're going to feel it. That this is the whole reason why, tryptophan at Thanksgiving, that's not really the reason why, you just feel terrible. It's because of all the insulin and that subsequent energy spike or energy, crash that you have after that, because the body literally says, clear it all out. No more energy left in the blood. Okay. We got rid of it. We swept it under the rug. And then, you just have nothing else left to kind of power you through. And that's at the worst possible time, because the more you ate and the more carbohydrates you ate, the higher the insulin, and the worse that response is. And like you said, it just locks it away. And it's really hard to get back at. We have to clear through all the glycogen to start burning it again.
Yeah, you have to clear through the glycogen and the short-term stores that are stored in skeletal muscle. And then depending on your activity level, your circadian rhythm, what time of day it is, your stress levels, how is your sleep, right? So there's a bunch of different things that can also factor into it. I still can't believe I just read it again, but in the early postprandial, so in that 30-minute to 180-minute window post eating, the energy available that was available declined the fastest in the high carb group. So it's even worse in the beginning. It's like your body just goes crazy. Like, okay, got to get rid of it. And I remember at one point back in the day, we had this joke. There was a couple of friends of ours that moved to Florida, and we used to call it caterpillar blood, because there was this documentary or study out there, and I don't remember the efficacy of it. But this is years ago, and it was like they had a gentleman eat like a thing of Pop-Tarts, a diet soda, and a banana or something for breakfast. And then I think it might have been like a fast food meal for lunch. And they did his blood work, and it's like literally like on the what is that thing? We look at the slides, the microscope. On the microscope, you could literally see like the coagulation taking place. So we always joke that when we would go out and indulge in a celebratory dinner or something, it's like, oh, I have caterpillar blood. I just don't feel good. Like you could just feel yourself slowing down. So take home message.
Molasses, huh?
Yeah, molasses. That's another good one, right? So really just visualizing it for me is like, oh man, I know I'm going to feel bad after I eat that. And we had a conversation with a coaching client earlier today. It's like, you just got to make better decisions, right? Because once you start doing this, you're going to feel a certain way. And like, once you make that realization, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to feel that way anymore.
No.
Like, I can't, like tomorrow's a really busy day for me. I can't feel like that, or it's just going to make the day that much harder.
Right. And, we plan out these windows, we plan out our fasting schedule, and you don't have to be working against that. You can be working to encourage that, to push that further by, being moderate and smart with your carbohydrate choices and your meal planning, for what you're going to be eating whenever you're not fasting. And that's what we're going to encourage you to do, is put a little bit of conscious effort behind that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about your meals the next time you break a fast, and tilt it more on the moderate to lower carbohydrate side, and observe how you feel after that and through your next fast as well.
Yeah, if you're doing OMAD and you typically have a moderate to higher carb content meal that night, the next day you're going to wake up more hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're going into a longer fast, try to limit it as well, because it always makes that first 24 to 48 hours that much harder, because you have all of that short-term stored energy that your body needs to burn through. So cravings and all that come back. So Tommy, if we want to wrap up with an action step, like one succinct thing, maybe a numerical checkpoint, or maybe a percentage on carbohydrates. Like, what can we do here to make sure that there's an actionable thing other than thinking about the feeling? Start, like you said, start thinking about and being aware of what you eat and then how you feel 2 to 3 hours later, or what you eat going into or out of a fast.
Sure. Break down your next meal, that's especially one that's going to break a fast, whether it's OMAD or a longer one, and shoot for the lower carbohydrate group that experienced the best results in this study, which was 20% of their meal. So that was versus 60% in the highest carbohydrate group. So shoot for that 20% point when you're looking at your calories and kind of putting together your next meal plan to break a fast, and know that you're going to be encouraging your results, and you're going to be pushing your results even further than with just the fast. So you're encouraging those results while you're eating, and then going into your next fast as well. It's going to be, this is really going to put some acceleration behind your results.
Cool. So 20%. If you don't know really what that means, grab a MyFitnessPal, grab a tracker app, put your food in, and you'll be able to see the percentages. But really, I think I didn't realize that number was there in the study, but I'm glad you mentioned it, because that's where the results lie. So 20% carb, and that's not super low either. There's a lot of lower carb people out there, but you can still, if you're doing 60, 20, 20, right? Or
if you had a typical, like, let's say you had a relatively kind of a larger meal, but on an OMAD, maybe it's about 40 to 50% of your normal calories, then maybe it's 900 calories. Let's keep the math simple at 1,000 calories.
Right.
20% would be, let's see, so 200 calories. So that's 50 grams of carbohydrates right there on that meal. So keep it around that range.
Wow.
And you'll be
That's
hitting
actually
that
a lot. Point. Yeah. Now that you put it that way, based on those numbers. Yeah. So that still gives people a lot of flexibility too. So
absolutely.
Awesome. This is fantastic. I love it. I love the fact that there's like a real life application. Like, have you ever felt this way? Yes. Well, now this is exactly what's happening. Right. Mm-hmm. So, I appreciate it, Tommy. For everyone that is new to the podcast, check us out at www.thefastingforlife.com, thefastingforlife.com. We have a free fast start guide. It is a 6-step PDF that you can download, put in your email, get zipped across the interwebs to your inbox. And then accompanying that, which we want to see more people doing, is there's a free 20-minute mini masterclass. So you get a login to our website, and you get a membership. It's free. You get to go in. You get to watch a small 2 to 3 4-minute video with each step, showing you how to put intermittent fasting or 1 meal a day fasting into your life. The quicker you start, the quicker you feel better, the quicker you see that first win or result on the scale, the easier it gets. So if you haven't done that, go to the website, thefastingforlife.com, download the Fast Start Guide. You want to drop us a rating or review, share with a friend. We'd appreciate it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. via the contact us form on the website, or you can drop us a question on the iTunes, Apple Podcast review page. And we bring those together from time to time and do Q&A episodes. I think we've done 3 or 4 of those out of the group episodes that we've done so far. Mm-hmm. So anything else to add, Tommy? We good?
No, I think you got it.
Awesome, well sir. Thank you so much, and we will talk soon.
Thank you. Bye. So, you've heard today's episode, and you may be wondering, where do I start? Head on over to thefastingforlife.com and sign up for our newsletter, where you'll receive fasting tips and strategies to maximize results and fit fasting into your day-to-day life.
While you're there, download your free Fast Start guide to get started today. Don't forget to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and we'll be back next week with another episode of Fasting for Life.